Hello everybody. Today we're going to go into continue reading the raw words. We're in the middle of the Sikha, of the talk from the Rebbe. It's from the talks of Shabbos, Torah portion Shemos, the 21st of Teves, 5752. Anyways, so what we were talking about before is the whole idea of going down into Egypt. Was the whole idea of the Jews' names going down into Egypt talks about, but going down into Egypt is already the Gula, the redemption. And the Rebbe explained that because the Mishnah says it's redemption, we have to understand why. And he went on to explain that the whole idea of the service, that everything we did from going out from Egypt, including the times when we were in exile, and finally the final redemption, all of this time is part of the redemption. Even though it appears that the exile itself is a Yerida, going down to a lower level, we seem to be blocked off from Hashem, but there's a certain thing in this time that is very special, that even the service of Avodah, the work of serving God in such a dark time, this type of work is even special even in times of Mashiach, when everything is beautiful and everybody sees godliness and there's no negativity. Still, there's something that us doing at this time, which the Rebbe explains, that the level of negating ourselves to do Hashem's will, this happens also much more in the darkness, because the darkness means that you become under the control of the physical limitations of the world, of your body and everything, and you start to not understand that everything's Hashem and Hashem's here and everything's just here. I'm only to serve Hashem, because you become dark. It's dark. You become like blind in a certain way. And even during this time, when you fight that and when you overcome it, you bring in a special thing, and we explained about a special light into the world that can only be brought this way. And even in times of Mashiach, this also is even the times of Mashiach, this light is special then. This avodah that we're doing is special for all times. So this is what we're talking about. Now let's start on this. We're talking about also, now we're going to go in, we were talking about Benzoma, what we're talking, this is famous in the Agada, and we're talking about what we talked about earlier. We're starting on number 6 at bottom of page 19. With this, we can truly appreciate the innovation of the sages in relation to the words of Benzoma. Because we said before in the Mishnah, it says, Kol yemei chayecha, all the days of your life. So the days of your life, we said, means this world, and all the days of your life could either mean the nights, according to Benzoma, but the Chachamim, the sages say, it means the Habilamet Mashiach, to bring Mashiach. That even now, the service that you're doing now in Galus is still a service of Mashiach, of redemption. In addition to the words of with this we can truly appreciate the innovation of the sages in the relationship to the words of Benzoma. In addition to the words of Benzoma, that we have the phenomenon of going out of Egypt all the days of your life, even in the nights, in the night of exile, in the darkness. The sages, so this is Benzoma says that even in the darkness, we should also realize that there's still the inyan of redemption, that we're going out that even in darkness we can go beyond the light and beyond the darkness and still be free and not be limited by the darkness and what we see around us. This is the idea, and we can, the darkness here subdues like your Yahrtzeit. When it wants you to do something, you can be free, you can subdue it and be free of it. So the sages said, but the sages said that they innovate, to bring a new thing, that in all the days of your life includes the days of Mashiach. That all the days of your life in this world, both the days as well as the nights, in other words, everything you do during the exile and in the darkness of exile, we have in addition to the level of going out of Egypt. We have in addition to the level of going out at Egypt, a redemption which is not complete, as was apparent at that time. Also, that we have the level of going out from Egypt, as is in truth the days of Mashiach, the complete redemption with no exile following. In other words, the Rebbe is saying, the sages say that it includes the days of Mashiach, both in this world and also additionally it includes, but the idea of going out from Egypt, going out from there being the redemption that even was not complete, is also it's also a level that we're going out from Egypt. It also has to do with the days of Mashiach. So this level of redemption that we're going beyond we're breaking through limitations, even this also has to do, even the Gullus and the difficult times we have, this has to do also with the days of Moshiach. And the days of Moshiach is a time when there's no exile. So special is what we're doing now. It's even special forever and ever. It's interesting to note there are many of the holidays and days of Moshiach in later times will not be. Everything will be so great that they won't be recognized. But this will always be recognized as service of God that we do when in negating ourselves to serve Hashem, saying I know what Hashem wants and I don't want to be separated and don't care if this thing happens, I'm just going to look the other way. If I want to say something bad about somebody, I'm just not going to say it. All of these things are very great levels, but Hashem loves beautifully. And to add, by analyzing the precise wording of lahabi, to bring, it says, the lashon, the language in Hebrew, lahavi is to bring the days of Mashiach. And it doesn't say that it says you're supposed to remember going up from Egypt all the days of your life. That says, it doesn't mean, so everybody says it means, the Chachamim say generally means the days, which would be days, and not the Chachamim. The Mishnah says it should be the days, and then we have Ben Zoma says even the darkness, and then the Chachamim said, they say lahavi, to bring the days of Mashiach. What's it mean to bring and not to be included? It doesn't say that it should be included the days of Mashiach, as the common wording, that the service of remembering the exodus from Egypt, all the days of his life in this world. We're on page, top of page 21. 1 brings the redemption, the revelation of godliness that will be manifest in the days of Mashiach into this world. So we being into this world, Mashiach, in the present time, only that is not openly revealed, and we only appreciate the foretaste. So the first thing is by remembering going out from Egypt all the days of your life, means we can be involved today in the idea of Mashiach. We can have the foretaste of what it means Mashiach. We can already taste Mashiach. The like when you go to a big meal, they give you tasters, they give you hors d'oeuvres. We have the taste of Mashiach right now. We can grab into, be part of it, but not in a total way. Number 2, moreover, that this actually brings in the days of your life the perfection of the days of Mashiach, in plural, including all its stages in the true complete redemption. So even more so, not only does it when you're going out from Egypt, this revelation of going out from Egypt is manifested. You can live in Messianic age. You can be a foretaste, but it actually brings Mashiach. It brings everything in a complete perfection and the true complete redemption. So this is a great thing. This is the whole idea that the special thing in the Gullus of negating yourself has included in all levels, even in times of Mashiach, and it makes a completeness in the redemption. This avoda that we negate ourselves and do what Hashem wants us to do. That we negate our will, not ourselves. Ourselves is we just want to do what Hashem wants. Our Yetzirah in the darkness, just to do what Hashem wants us to do. But this is understood that from this it's understood that the words of the sages are not only the laws for the days of Mashiach, that we remember the exodus of Egypt, not just remember something, rather it contains an innovation law pertinent to the service of the Jew. It contains something special for us. Also in the present time, before the coming of Mashiach and actuality, also now, when we're talking and learning this, right now it gives us something special, that when one remembers of the exodus from Egypt, he knows that this is connected with the bringing of the days of Mashiach. That we remember that we remember that we're going outside. What's remembering going from Egypt? We remember how we went out when we went out of our limitations and broke through our limitations. And the same thing here is that this idea of remembering and know that the going out from Egypt means today that we have problems and we forget about Hashem and we forget about being nice to one another, forget about the holiness. We can break through that today. And this breaking through, when you're doing this service, this connection with Mashiach, the days of Mashiach, it's so special to Hashem. It's not a small thing, it's a very special thing. Now we're on number 7, bottom of page 21. Based on this, we understand the relationship of the Mishnah with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was appointed to be the leader this day. The purpose, and now the Rebbe is going to explain. This is an amazing thing. Rebbe explained there's one leader in every generation, and it's not necessarily always known. Some generations it was known by everybody, some only by some. But here, in the times that we're talking about, he was the leader of the generation, was the leader of the great Knesset Gedolah, the great assembly, and he was the leader. He was the head man, and everybody went to him and went through him. So he became appointed the leader. The purpose of, what's the purpose of leader of the Jewish people? The Nasi is an idiom for nasus. Nasi has the same meaning, words-wise, also to be exalted. That is, so what's it mean to exaltation? Is that it is connected and united all the days of your life, of every individual Jew, of all the Jewish people as a whole, all the days of your physical life in this world, and especially during the time of exile, the nights, with redemption in general. Freedom becomes constraints and limitations, and especially with the days of Moshiach, the true and complete redemption, which has no exile after. This is like unbelievable. This, we understand from here why you need a Rebbe. What is a Rebbe? What is the leader of the generation? He's the one who can connect us to Mashiach in ourselves, to the inyan of the redemption in ourselves. That's what he's saying. Let's read this over again. It's such an amazing thing. That the purpose of the leader, why did God make Moshe Rabbeinu? Why did God make the Rebbe? Why did God make the Frierdiker Rebbe? What is their purpose in the world? The purpose of a leader of Jewish people, of a Nasi, which is an idiom for his Nasus, exaltation. What's the purpose? The purpose of the Rebbe is connect and to unite all the days of your life of every individual Jew and of all the Jewish people as a whole, not just me, but everybody, all the days of your physical life, that in this world, especially during the time of Galus, especially now, Chevli Mashiach, the nights, with the redemption in general, that in other words, that you're able to see that even the darkness is not real, that the real thing is everything is redemption, that Hashem is really with us and taking care of us no matter what. What's the redemption in general, Rebbe says here, is freedom from the constraints and limitations, and especially you're connecting it, and especially with the days of Mashiach, the true and complete redemption, which has no exile after. So we're connected all the way by the Rebbe, the leader of the generations, can connect us with the inyan of Mashiach forever. But not only connect us with the idea of the foretaste of Mashiach, but with the inyan of Mashiach. Specifically, he has the ability to connect and to unite the exile with redemption. And more specifically, to connect and unite the exile from Egypt and the days of Mashiach as they exist with an interval of exile between them, like we said, that we left Egypt. We had this, like we said earlier, that since there were some side issues, we didn't right away go into the Holy Land and then Mashiach, but we had to stay in exile. So therefore, he connects the exodus from Egypt, which is a wonderful thing, and the days of Mashiach as they exist with an interval of exile between them. Remember the days you left Egypt, all the days of your life, including the days of Mashiach. That as a Jew lives all the days of his life as a soul within a body in this physical and materialistic world, and in the time of exile, he may have the ability to leave the constraints and limitations, and furthermore stand in a state of days of Mashiach. In other words, it's an amazing thing. This is what the power that the Rebbe does. He's able to connect us to the essence of godliness, to Hashem, to the essence of Mashiach, that we can live Mashiach now. Then, therefore, specifically the day that he ascended to the leadership, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was occupied with the topic of remembering the exodus from Egypt, including also every day and bringing days of Mashiach. In other words, he specifically was involved with this idea that he was, at that point he became the leader. He finally understood how to connect all the Jews with Hashem and with Mashiach and Messianic times, and how they can live in this time Galus without the constraints of Galus in a way of Mashiach. I mean, Baruch Hashem, the more I learn this stuff, the more it seems my eyes open up. I look at people, I see more how people are really amazing. And then just today, there was a person I know that, he's a Rahman, he has certain problems. And, I think he's part schizophrenia, he has to take medication. And you see him schlepping around, walking around. And one day, a couple of months ago, I looked at him and I was just sitting in awe. I said, look at what this guy has, and he just wants good, and he makes brachas, and he eats, he walks around, and he's just nice to people. He's a wonderful person, and he's a godly person. Today I'm sitting there, I was thinking about this, and I'm sitting in prayer, and I went to shul, and the guy comes in, and I give him some money for tzedakah. He's a nice guy. And he sits down, and he's just simply. I started looking. He sits down. He put on tefillin. He opened a pair of Tehillim, said a few words, but you could see this is him. That he wasn't even with his constraints. He was one with Hashem. Even with his constraints, he was special and holy. this is that, I think that that this is one of the things that for myself, that I think that the Rebbe, Baruch Hashem, has opened my eyes more and more, and that I can see when I look at my Jewish brother, and when I go to shul and see how people love one another, and they're very serious of davening, of which I mentioned prayers. It's an amazing thing when you realize what you are and where you come from. And now, how much time do we have? What is it?
We had 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Oh, good. Okay, we have plenty of time. Okay, now we're on number 8, at bottom page 22. And we may say that the connection of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah prefacing his words by saying, I'm like one who is 70 years old. Remember, when he became the prophet, when he became the Nasi, the leader, he said, he was only 18 years old. We're going to go into this, but he says, I'm like 70 years old. The Talmud relates that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, I'm like one who's 70 years old, and not I am 70 years old. He didn't say I am 70 years old, but he says I'm like. Since he was at the time only 18 years old. And a miracle transpired for him, and he became adorned with 18 rows of white hair. And this showed everyone that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is befitting to be the leader, since his white hairs of old age, and it is fitting for the lecturer to be an old man. So we have to be, so maybe that makes me good because I have white hair too. I don't know. Anyways, let's go further. That's supposed to be a joke. Anyways, from this is understood that the perfection of leadership is related to the number of 70 years specifically, to the extent that until the situation was as such, that notwithstanding all the virtue, Rabbi Elazar was so special, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that he was wise, rich, and the 10th generation of descendant of Ezra. Nevertheless, he says, he had all these special merits. He says, I did not merit that the Exodus from Egypt be recited every night until Ben Zoma brought it to light, the exposition implying its obligations. And on that day, when he understood this, upon which Rabbi Elazar became the leader. That's an explanation of this. These are very much connected. That 70 years is the level of perfection in the life of man. As is written, the days of our life are comprised of 70 years. This perfection constitutes the fact that the person reaches at this point the service of refining all his 7 attributes as they are complete. 7 each comprised of 10, 70. So we have explains the Chassidus and Kabbalah that everybody's made up of 10 attributes. You have the intellect, which is Chachma, Bina, V'das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And then you have the other 7 attributes, which are how you react to people. They're called the midas, how you attributes, how you react, like love and fear, kindness and severity, beauty, different attributes. All these is how a person relates to the world, his feelings, his being. The intellect is more how you is more above the world and how you look at the world to understand. It's not how you actually relate. So therefore, the whole idea in this world is that a person should refine his being how he is in the world. So how do you refine what's 70? Now, each of the attributes is an inclusion of all the other. In other words, in kindness you have the wisdom of kindness, and you have the understanding of kindness, and you have the knowledge of kindness, and you have the kindness of kindness. As we know that we have all so each one is combined of 10 parts, includes it. So therefore, you have 10 times 7 is 70. So therefore, you're completely refined every part of yourself, of your attributes, how you relate into the world. And more specifically, a person is given 70 years in order to do the service of the 7 attributes as they close themselves below in this physical world, in the animal soul. The days of our life is by him. It says, it literally says Bahem, but from the term Bahem in Hebrew also means the days of your life, but Behema, the days of your life, or you're an animal. In other words, the animal walks by his 7 attributes, his instincts, his feelings. And in the world of negativity in general, and overall the 70 nations of the world, and through this service he reaches perfection of 70. So in other words, we're involved in dealing with the animal soul in general, the animal of the world, and the world that had all negativity and problems in it. And it says that in other words, what's the negativity and problems? There were the 70 nations, that this has to do with the people that generally these are the problems. And through this service, what's this service? When you perfect your attributes and you become a holy person in everything you do and how you see and how you feel, how you interact with people, and everything you're doing is just for Hashem. You totally refine yourself and become a vessel totally for godliness for Hashem. So when he reaches this perfection of 70, the perfection of 70 is also in Hebrew. Ayin is the letter Ayin. Each Hebrew letter has a numerical value. So the letter Ayin is for 70. So Ayin also means I. When you say a person's I, it's Ayin. It's the same. So therefore, we're talking 70. So the Rebbe says, when you reach this level of perfection, totally working through yourself. And remember, how do you do all of this? You do all of this by connecting with the Rebbe, by connecting with the Nasi Ador. He gives you the power to do all of this. So at the level of Ayin, when you reach this the level of Ayin, of holiness, seeing of godliness, including the perfection of this, is in the time to come. That when you reach this level, then you totally become purified. You can see godliness. You can walk around and see holiness. You can look at another Jew and see his holy. It's amazing. You can see godliness. You see the wonders of God in the world, including the perfection of this in the time to come. This will also include in the times to come. Not exactly what the Rebbe adds to here, but anyways, let's go further. And likewise, we may say, this is a chiddush from the Rebbe, something new, nobody ever said this before, with regard to the marvelous I'm like one who's 70 years old, of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the leader. In order to become the leader, he needed to reach the perfection of like one who is 70 years old, the refinement of matters of the world, in which are divided into 70 nations. He had to reach his perfection to refine everything, make everything pure. And the worldly matters which are divided by the 7 nations, and this, he reached such a level, and this gave him the power that he should have the phenomenon of I merited that the exile be recited every night. So this, that he became so pure, he understood, he had the power. It says here, I gave him the power that he says and this gave him the power that he should have the phenomenon of I merit that the actors be recited every night, that we may have the ability to accomplish the concept of exodus from Egypt, the redemption from constraints and limitations, even while we're in the lowest state of nights. In addition to the service in this every day includes also all the days of your life, includes the days of Moshiach, the foretaste with the virtue of the complete redemption. When the perfection of the resignment of all 70 nations, and the revelation of 70 transpires, namely the ayin above, and your eye shall behold your master, and as such, the godliness is clearly revealed in the whole world. The glory of Hashem will be revealed in all flesh. Together we'll see that the mouth of Hashem has spoken. Let's go over this again. It's a bit hard. Let's go from the top. And likewise, we may say, this is a chiddush, that with regard to the marvel that I'm like one who's 70 years old, the Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was like 70 years old, the leader, and in order to become a leader, he needed to reach a perfection of like one who's 70 years old. As I've said before, that he has to be totally complete. The refinement, what's that? The refinement of the matters of the world, which are divided into 70, is the 70 nations. And this gave him the power, says he's totally refined, that he should have the phenomenon of I merited that the exodus be recited every night. That we have the ability accomplished, the concept of exodus from Egypt. We can do this. We can get the redemption from what's the exodus from Egypt, redemption, constraints and limitations, even while we're in a state of lowest nights, even where everything looks terrible around us, we still are not going to, in addition to the service in this every day, and this is in addition to the service every day, including also what's the service of every day, including also the days of your life, includes the days of Moshiach. So this means that even the lowest time we can include, and even when with the darkest time, we can include this level of days of Mashiach, no matter what time, how dark it is outside, how it appears terrible times. And this is a foretaste of the virtue of the complete redemption. This is what we can have right now, today, this second, when the perfection of refinement of all the 70 nations, that what's going to happen when Mashiach comes, all the 70 nations will be refined, and this is the foretaste, the Rebbe is saying. And the revelation of 70 transpires in the ayin, and the revelation, the high level of everything being complete, it will be ayin to see the ayin of above, the eye of above, and your eye shall behold your master. We should see my master. And as such, that godliness is clearly revealed in the whole world. And it says, it brings the pasuk, and the glory of Hashem will be revealed, and all flesh will see together that the mouth of Hashem spoke. So this is what's going to happen. This is what with the special thing that we're having for the Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that when he reached perfection, therefore he's able to give over and to help us, that gives the power that... Wait a second. Yeah, since this gave him the power that he could connect the union of Mashiach today in the Galus, and when he has the Galus, he gives this to each and every Jew that says, and we have the ability to accomplish this concept. So this, that he receives he becomes perfect, he gives this back over, the ability for us to become perfect and to receive the idea of Mashiach. This comes from the leader. And we may also connect this with the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who his name is Elazar, the words Kael Ezer, which means Hashem helped. That's the first name is Hashem helped. And Azariah, the letters Hashem Ozer, from help from Hashem. So it says Hashem helped is the son of help from Hashem. So the name Eliezer ben Azariah is uniting both of them as one. Both Hashem to help, and we get help from Hashem. It's uniting both of them in a manner that his main aspect of Azariah and Eliezer receives basically explains that both sides, that both the Father and the Son help each other. One, that everything comes from the Father, so therefore he's the son of Eliezer, is the son of Azariah. And then the other level is, it says that the power of the Son is even greater than the power of the Father. So it says that both of these levels of service of God, of help from Hashem, and Hashem's helped, both of these are interconnected together in his name. Let's see, let's go over it again. And we may also connect this with the name of Elazar ben Azariah, who as his name denotes. So he is Elazar, that the letters of Kael Ezer, Hashem helped, and Azariah, the letters of Ezer Hashem, and then help from Hashem. So it says the name Elazar ben Azariah is uniting both of them as one, in a manner that this main aspect of Azariah, remember Elazar is the son of Azariah, and Elazar receives the son of Azariah, that Ben, that he says, God help, receives from the help of God, or that the main aspect is not Eliezer the main aspect is Elazar, and he is the Ben Azariah. The continuation of Azariah, and the son's ability is better than the father's ability. Or similarly to the meaning of Ben Chorim, free man, literally man of freedom, son of freedom, i.e. that he is in a state of freedom. Likewise, in our case, this is the aspect Eliezer is in the state of Azariah. That Eliezer is also in this, and exactly, I don't know exactly how to, this is not totally clear, but basically the Rebbe is explaining to us over here, from what I understand, that they have both levels together, that they have both levels of help from Hashem, two different aspects of help from Hashem, and they're both included in him. We're trying to understand how special he is, meaning to say, that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah has a special assistance from Hashem, and Hashem transcends the world. Since both the names, revelation of Hashem, Kael, Elazar, as well as the name Hashem, Yud-Kei, Azariah, both of them means different levels of how Hashem transcends the world, which both of these names symbolize a level of godliness transcends the supreme order of the gradual descents. In other words, in Chassidus, the chain descent, the Stashlus, how everything came down, of the revelations of Hashem. And most certainly, Elazar ben Azariah, both together, and from this transcendental level, he receives his assistance from Hashem to be the leader and give the power to the Jewish people to perform the service of exodus from Egypt every day and every night, as well in the days of Moshiach, including to bring the days of Moshiach. These are the Rebbe's words, that he's the one who gives us the power to be connected with Mashiach. Let's go over this once more time, because it's a very important paragraph. This is meaning to say, we're talking about how Elazar ben Azariah is so much, he gets help from Hashem, he gets so much help from Hashem, has a special assistant, he gets special help from Hashem, and Hashem transcends, and as Hashem transcends, so he doesn't get help from Hashem as Hashem comes into the world, but he gets help from Hashem as Hashem at the level of Hashem as he's beyond the world. Assistance both in the name of revelation of Kael, Eliezer, as well in the name of Hashem. They both transcend. They're both names of God that totally. Another when we're talking about in the world and godliness, there's certain levels. Explains in Chassidus and Kabbalah how God becomes enclosed in the world, and there's levels of godliness that's too high to become enclosed in the world. That's above becoming clothed in the world. And the whole idea for Mashiach is that, and why it's kind of become clothed in the world, because the world is not ready, it's not purified, and if it would come down, the world would be like blown out of existence, like an atomic bomb. However, if you refine the world properly, and this is what we've done all these generations, this is what Hashem wants, a dwelling place in this world. So therefore, this is what the Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is doing. He's bringing down this whole idea from of uniting the spiritual and physical, the whole idea of the giving of the Torah. He's bringing down this revelation of Hashem, not the high revelation of Hashem as Hashem is enlivening the world, but at the level of Hashem, how he totally transcends the world. And he brings us down so he brings us down, as well as the name of Hashem Azariah, which both names symbolize the level of godliness that transcends the systematic order of the gradual descent of the revelation of Hashem, and most certainly Eliezer ben Azariah, both together, and from this transcendent level, he receives his assistance from Hashem. That he receives everything from Hashem to be the leader. Hashem made Rebbe to be a leader and give the power to the Jewish people. What's the leader supposed to do? To perform the service of exile. So from the leader, the leader of the generation, he gives us the power that we can perform the service of exile from Egypt every day, every night, as well in the days of Moshiach, including to bring the days of Moshiach. And now he gives us the power to live Moshiach now. This simple terms. The Rebbe, the Nasi Ador, by him listening and following, the more we see and more we're one with him, and realize how much we're one with him, the more we see this and feel it, so then we have the power to live Mashiach now, and any time. Number 9. Now we're on page 26, number 9. And to add that the above mentioned accomplishment of Eliezer ben Azariah as the leader is also alluded to in the story of the Talmud, that it says, on that day, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah became the leader. They removed the guard from the doorway and gave permission for the students to enter. Since Rabbi Gamliel would announce any student whose inside is not like the outside should not enter the study hall, that day many benches of students were added in the study hall. So what happened here? Rabbi Gamliel was a big tzaddik. But he said you had to be with me. You had to be totally pure. Your inside had to be totally holy. If you had a blemish, and the outside was, your actions were a little bit messed up, or your soul was messed up inside, you couldn't be with me. But Rabbi Elazar said, I don't care. Every Jew can come in. It says they added. He was a higher level. That's what we're going to talk about. That he was so special. It's like the Rebbe. The Rebbe of Adon Siyos, he went to even people who the other Rebbe's wouldn't touch. He touched and he was worked and he spent time with him. He didn't care. He dealt with every Jew because he was a Jew. He deals with every Jew because he's a Jew. Rabbi Gamliel's manner of conduct was for the foretaste of the time to come. When the spirit of impurity I shall remove from the earth. So basically the Rebbe is going to explain that like we see that in future times everything is pure. And this is the way he was living, Mashiach, and the time to come. So that's why he says, the man of conduct with the foretaste of the time to come. What's going to be when the time to come? When the spirit of immunity I shall remove from the land. And that a student whose inside is not like their outside should not enter the study hall. Why? Since from the perspective of holiness of time to come, there is no place for a negative matter. Similarly, to the conduct of Shammai, the idiom of Hashem says, Hashem, one who evaluates his ways, meaning that he was scrupulous in negating the mere possibility for negativity. If there was any problem, any smell of dirt, smell of something bad, he didn't want involved. Which therefore the law is like the opinion of Shammai specifically in the time to come. We have in general, generally talking about the law of Shammai and Hillel were the two great rabbis, and Shammai was more strict, and Hillel was less strict. So it explains in Chassidus that one was more like the times of Mashiach. In the times of Mashiach, there's no evil, and all you do is going to higher levels. And that was Shammai. That's why he was like he says he was very strict. He wanted everything perfect. And Hillel was more, he says, we're still in the exile and we want to elevate, so he was more lenient. In other words, he tried to elevate more things. So he was to bring everything up, which this is like the difference between the two. Also, let's go and see what he says. Okay. So in other words, so Rebbe Gamliel, we're trying to understand it. At first glance, it sounds like Rebbe Gamliel is not such a nice guy. He's not letting people come to learn Torah. But he says, no, this is how he was. In his yeshiva, he wanted everybody pure. And he was living like in the time to come. Like that's why in later time it says, Shammai, the Lach will go like him. Whereas the conduct of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was in accordance with the state of this world in the present time. What was happening then presently when he was that in the world of constraints, limitations, and concealment of godliness, including during the darkness of exiles nights, where there it can be an existence of inside not like their outside, we can nevertheless accomplish the refinement and the ascent of exodus from Egypt. So even though you're not totally, inside you're pure and one with Hashem, but on the outside you have problems, it's not the same. So therefore, we can nevertheless accomplish the refinement and the ascent of exile from Egypt. He says we can still do this. Don't kick us out of the shul. We can still bring people close, even though they're not perfect. And therefore, on that day, he removed all the guards from the doorway and gave permission for the students to enter, which this is the purpose of the leader, to bring about an abundance of students among the Jewish people. We may, however, have thought, however, that since Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah let in even that student whose inside was not like the outside, he was not totally, he was messed up in certain ways in how he did things. It is not only possible to bring about by him a redemption which is not complete in a matter of subduing negativity, since the evil is still at full strength. So one thing is, he's saying, it is only possible to bring about him by, hold on, messing this up. Let's go from the top again. We may have thought that, however, that since Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah let in even each such a student whose inside was not like his outside, we might think this, it is only possible to bring about by him a redemption which is not complete, a manner of subduing negativity, since the evil is still at full strength. So this we could help him, that he should overcome his Yetzer Hara, but he's able to still be there, his evil inclination. Since the complete redemption is dependent on the phenomenon that everything shall be perfectly inside like outside, and the spirit of impurity I shall remove from the earth. The sages continue to add that all the days of light includes in addition the nights, also the bringing of the days of Moshiach, that also in a state of exile, where there can be an existence of inside not like outside, we can accomplish a complete redemption. In other words, even though you're not totally pure and you still have problems, the idea from Elazar, he said that if you follow what I'm doing, you can reach a level of complete redemption. And this is alluded in the fact that even Reb Gamliel did not hold himself back from being in the study hall, even for one moment. He stayed there, which shows. He could have said, how can I study? I was the rabbi, I was the leader, everybody followed me, and we had a law that you had to be totally pure. You couldn't have any problems. You had to be totally pure. Your actions, how you thought, how you felt, and how you felt inside. You had to be a pure person inside and out. But no, maybe he'd say, I can't deal. He could go learn by himself or get his own students. He says, no. He saw that this is the truth. This is the whole idea, that you have to bring Mashiach down even to people who have negativity, even to people who have problems. And this alluded to the fact that even Rabbi Gamliel did not hold himself back from being in the study even for one moment, which shows that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah accomplished that even Rabbi Gamliel, whose level of service is related to Days of Moshiach, as mentioned above, agrees and actually assists in the matter of the conduct of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who gave permission for the students to enter the study hall. In other words, this is, it's kind of interesting. I don't know, I just thought of this. I'm not too sure whether this fits or not, but I'll throw it out there. When the Rebbe started, really, the Baal Tshuva movement started from the Rebbe. Before that, there were a lot of Baal Tshuvas, and people who were like from birth, especially certain Hasidim, they used to say, you're Lubavitchers, you're going out, you're going to get brought down, you're going to have all these problems. And then, basically I turned to the guy and says, well, I used to be one of these guys, so the guy was quiet. But I mean, if the Rebbe gives permission, he tells his students to go out throughout the world to spread Yiddishkeit. He told them that they should go out and teach. In other words, he's the same thing over here. He's talking about Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah gave permission that everybody can come. The Rebbe had dollars. It didn't matter what spiritual level you were. But you could come. You didn't even have to have an appointment, nothing. Many miracles happen. So let's go on. How much time we got now? We're in next paragraph 10.
You got 39 minutes right
Okay, so we're going to stop here. And tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, or next week, we'll start on number 10, page 29. Sei gesund, everybody, and we should have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we should realize that the Rebbe, he connects us with the Days of Moshiach, and we can be happy.